Can you turn your phone down so I can do my live stream? Y'all gotta tune in. Hold on. Y'all gotta tune in, cause we got some content today. Yes, sir. That's what we have, content. I don't know if I can play this one necessarily, so I might go to the actual weather first. I don't normally cover the weather, but apparently I stay in the Mid-South, and we got some bad weather coming up. Let's check it out. 3-minute video from Fox News.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a full...
We ain't doing that. Let me get the live stream ready. Hold on. Hold on. I sent you a link to the live stream. Check it out. So anyway, y'all, apparently the Mid-South is gonna have a terrible blizzard. Apparently, I didn't know until like a few days ago. Actually, I haven't been paying attention. Apparently, damn, 2 ads. We're gonna skip the next ad if they give us option. Hey, can you give me a check on that? See, can you hear me?
Americans are bracing for a colossal winter storm. The storm is expected to bring double-digit snow totals to the Northeast and crippling ice from Texas to the Carolinas. Fox Weather meteorologist Bane Froney is here in Dallas to walk us through the full forecast.
Hey, Will, you know, this forecast has been intense. We've been talking about this for days on end. The main impact, though, is going to be the ice. I mean, that's the most dangerous part of this forecast. You can see here a big chunk of the country going to be dealing with that freezing rain as we continue to move throughout starting tonight and overnight into tomorrow. Here in Texas specifically, we'll start to see that impact late tonight and overnight again into your Saturday. But as we move throughout your Saturday, we're going to see these ice impacts impacting areas like Arkansas, Mississippi, parts of, Alabama as well, and moving all the way up towards the Northeast as we move throughout the next few days. But let's take a closer look at those snow impacts, because snow totals will also be on the higher end. I mean, we are talking close to 12 inches of snow in some places like Oklahoma City could be seeing close to 12 inches of snow once all is said and done. We're already starting to see some of that snow falling already. Now, moving up towards the Northeast, you can see in parts of Kentucky could see record-breaking snow totals there. Moving up to the Northeast into mostly our Sunday and Monday, even into New York City, the I-95 corridor.
Hey, y'all, this is crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is, I decided that I was gonna order some groceries, man. I decided I was gonna order some groceries. Basically everything on my list they had to do a replacement for, or they just didn't have it. I couldn't even get an onion. I had to go to a gas station and get gas station onion. This is a gas station onion. Have you ever seen a gas station onion? Yeah, Kroger did not have onions. They didn't have onions left, man. People love their onions in a snowstorm, I suppose. And the water, don't even get me started on water. I had to get this water. Trust me. I wanted to order from Walmart, but the slots were booked up. It was fully booked up. And I had to get water from, I think, Kroger, and they gave me the Sunny. I get the Great Value water. I'm not picking on my water, bro. And the Great Value water like $3 for a 38 case or some shit. I don't know, bro. It's cheap, very cheap. I get the cheapest water. I get a big case of it, but they were sold out of that, and not sold out. They didn't have any slots left at Walmart, and they probably were sold out. So I had to go to Kroger, and they were sold out of any water they had except for this Sunny. They were sold out of everything but the Sunny. Water, people in the comments, tell me if this is good water or not. Is the Sunny good water?
A lot of people like it. I'm not sure. I really can't taste the difference between Sunny and Great Value.
Anyway, it might be good water. It was too damn high for my blood.
Corridor, which is snow-starved. They could see close to 12 inches of snow there, maybe even more in some of those areas close to Boston. So a very impactful winter storm when it comes to those road impacts. But of course, travel by sky also going to be a major, major issue as we move throughout the next couple of days here. We're already starting to see those impacts at those major airports into Chicago, Denver, and Minneapolis, already seeing the worst delays so far. Today's worst cancellations actually coming out of Dallas, where we're at right now. DFW, 135 canceled flights already, and we're just getting started. We are expecting to see a lot more of these cancellations going up. And again, this is a big chunk of the country. We have our Fox weather meteorologists that are across the country, as well as our reporters that are going to be covering this storm from start to finish.
The conversation around this studio, Bain, has been about that first graph you had up, which is where will the power outages be? How long do we need to be prepared to run on a generator, to run without power? And you can see on your screen there, anything in white is where the biggest anticipations of power outages.
Exactly. I mean, even here in Dallas, we could see a good quarter to a half an inch of ice accumulating on our roadways. Areas like Arkansas could see up to an inch, and that is just incredible amounts of ice for roads, but also for those power lines. I mean, it's going to weigh them down. On top of this, with the wind, going to be potentially breaking off branches, causing major power outages. And on top of this, too, the cold air, it sticks around. So anything that falls in the next 48 hours, it's staying for a while.
All right. Awesome job. I know you're going to be all over this for the next hour and throughout the next couple of days live here from Dallas. Thank you, Bain.
Thanks, Will.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe.
Anyway, that's what's going on with the weather. What do y'all want to get into as far as the news go? Because we got a few things. How about Nick Shirley and Trump? He's asking the Greenland people, what do they think about Trump buying Greenland? I sound like Vince McMahon.
What if you can create your own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can.
Today I am here in Nuuk, Greenland. I will be asking the Greenlanders here how they feel about potentially becoming part of the United States. Donald Trump recently has been very persistent about the idea of making Greenland part of the United States, saying that the United States needs Greenland for national security purposes. Currently, Greenland is an autonomous territory of the Denmark Kingdom. However, most recently, the Prime Minister of Greenland has said that he wants to seek independence from Denmark, making this situation even more interesting. Greenland has key trading routes in the Arctic Circle for countries like Russia, China, Canada, the United States, making Greenland a pivotal spot in the talks of geopolitics. And this is not the first time the United States has tried to buy or acquire Greenland. In 1946, after World War II, the president at the time tried to buy Greenland for $100 million. Now let's go talk to the people here in Greenland. How do you guys feel about becoming part of the United States?
It's good.
Would you rather be a part of the United States or Denmark?
United States.
And you? United States or Denmark?
United States.
What makes you guys excited about potentially becoming a part of the United States?
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
We want fast food.
Is Greenland for sale?
No, we don't want McDonald's here. He will take all our resources from our nature and just use it for money. Greenland is only for Greenland.
But you guys are controlled by Denmark.
In some part.
Good or bad idea for Greenland to become a part of the United States?
USA and Greenland? I think it's okay. It's good.
Is Greenland for sale?
No, definitely not. And it will never be.
What if Donald Trump does buy Greenland somehow, some way?
He won't. Greenland is for the Greenlanders. And we don't want to be twice colonized.
And remember these two girls, as we will talk to them later in this video about how China has made their own attempt to gain territory inside of Greenland.
Do you think Donald Trump will buy Greenland?
No, we are not for sale, but understand him fully that he's protecting our right to self-determination. And he said he will tariff Denmark if they don't respect it. So that's very good for Greenland. Denmark threatens us with taking away our right to health and education.
Really? So you wouldn't be that mad if Donald Trump did buy Greenland?
He can't. But we will certainly cooperate with the United States. We already do.
How much would you bet that Donald Trump does not buy Greenland?
My fortune.
Your fortune?
I don't want to be American. I don't want to be Dane.
So what do you want to see happen with Greenland?
I think it's natural what's going on. We've been working for self-determination for many years. We have experienced some pressure from the coming president from US, but that should not shock us, that should not shake us in our work and wishes to realize our self-determination. So it's not about Denmark, it's not about the US, it's about Greenland. Our problem is that we are situated geopolitical in the middle of two big superpowers.
Greenland could be looked at as a very vulnerable country, as there's only 57,000 citizens here.
But it doesn't matter how few or how many we are. This is our country, and it has been, we have taken care of this long before any people could live here.
Yeah.
That's part of our heritage, and we have our rights.
In the past 4 years, the United States has given over $200 billion to countries like Ukraine, Israel, whether that be through military aid or financial aid. $200 billion is a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that goes to show that we have a lot of money. If Donald Trump were to offer you guys $5 billion, and you guys have 57,000 residents here, each resident would get around $100,000. Would you guys become United States citizens for $100,000?
No, I think not. Not me.
What do you think about Donald Trump wanting to buy Greenland?
I think it's a joke.
It is interesting as somebody who's from the United States because he did campaign on a lot of things, but he never brought up the idea of buying Greenland or taking over the Panama Canal, so it's kind of a new idea right now. Why do you think Donald Trump wants to take Greenland?
I think it's only because of the base, Thule base, because he's afraid of somebody's going to use it if they're not.
Would you feel more secure knowing that you have the largest military in the world, that being the United States?
No. I don't want the military in Greenland. We don't have anything to do with war, and we will never have something to do with it.
So are you worried that if Donald Trump does buy Greenland?
I mean, they say they don't have anything to do with war, but let's just say China wanted to invade them, and Donald Trump won't like that at all, so he'll invade too, and there'll be a little mini war inside your country between two people who don't even, and you guys aren't going to pick up a gun and be like, both of y'all motherfuckers get out of my country. You're not.
War could...
He cannot buy Greenland, I'm pretty sure.
And what would happen if the military of the United States did show up here on your shores? What would the reaction be of the Greenlanders?
I think people is going to be afraid because, like I said, Greenland have nothing to do with war, and we will never have something to do with war.
The Prime Minister of Greenland did say he is ready to talk with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Does that concern you at all?
Not at all, because he's only saying it so if they want to expand on the Thule, because it's already written that they can expand and do what they want up there. So I'm not afraid of that.
Okay, so you're not afraid, even though your Prime Minister said he's ready to talk?
No, I'm not afraid.
Say the United States offered to buy Greenland for $5 billion. That would give you around $90,000 or upwards of $100,000. Would you become a United States citizen for $100,000?
No, I wouldn't.
How do you feel about the United States wanting to buy Greenland?
It's ridiculous.
And why do you think it's ridiculous?
Because it's not for sale.
What would it take for you to want to become a part of the United States?
Nothing.
And why wouldn't you want to become part of the United States?
Maybe taxes, the healthcare system.
Greenland is very interesting because you guys are in the Arctic Circle and you guys are the largest island in the world, and you guys have the bridge between the United States, Canada, and Russia.
Yeah.
So do you think Donald Trump wants to buy Greenland in preparations if there's a World War III to break out?
Yeah, but the thing is, Greenland is a very peaceful place. I don't think it's fitting to get some weapons imported.
Peaceful places like y'all are battlegrounds because you can't protect yourself. It's not enough for y'all. Y'all don't have enough weapons. If any other country wanted to get there, they could. Well, I'll say Trump's right for taking their land. But at the same time, I don't believe in being that damn vulnerable. Like, you that damn vulnerable? You in between people who trying to fight Russia, China, America? You in between them? You try to be... trying to blend into the background. You can't do it. It's impossible.
Okay, so that'd be kind of your fear, is that if Donald Trump were to buy Greenland, it might cause some tensions here in Greenland.
Yes, exactly.
What kind of tensions do you think? Can you elaborate on that?
Maybe we get aimed at from other countries.
What do you think about the United States buying Greenland?
No more Danish.
Why do you guys not like the Danish?
Liar.
How do you feel about...
See, I heard that too. I've heard that they do not like the Danish. Like, it's Danish Denmark, right? Denmark basically owns Greenland. They want their independence. I was talking to my friend earlier about it. It's like, either you are not going to get your independence from Denmark, or the U.S. can come get you. They don't have much of a choice, because they're not going to fight for it. I'm sure they're not going to fight for it.
being bought potentially by the United States?
I don't think we're going to be bought. Times have passed where you could buy other people in other states. You did that 100 years ago, not now.
So Greenland's not for sale?
No.
100 years ago, what history do y'all have? Goddamn, y'all still selling niggas 100 years ago? You fucked up.
Definitely not.
And now that your prime minister is ready to talk with Donald Trump,
Slavery was more than 100 years ago, except apparently in Denmark.
are you worried about the United States buying Greenland?
No, not at all.
Sorry, Greenland, as y'all want to be called.
I'm 68 years old, so I'm not worried.
What do you and the majority of Greenlanders think about Donald Trump?
As a human being, he's a little bit crazy maybe, but he's the most powerful in the world next after Putin and China.
Do you think Vladimir Putin is more powerful than Donald Trump?
No.
So would you say Donald Trump's the most powerful man in the world?
Yeah, U.S. is the most powerful country in the world.
Is Greenland for sale?
No. See, we live here. Trump cannot buy Greenland.
What will you do if he does buy Greenland?
I will ask Trump if he can kayak on his own without help. If he can buy. If he can't, he don't buy.
So...
Oh, Trump, he put you on the damn... Hey, he said it, man. Come buy that shit if you can kayak. Y'all got... Hey, Trump, you got to go out there with that kayak. You got to pull up on the kayak. Yeah. You got to do it like that. And then you come buy that motherfucker. I'm playing. I'm not playing, but I'm playing.
If the United States were to buy Greenland and you were able to get $20,000, would you do it?
I will not say yes for money. For Greenland or money. I will just Greenland. We live in Greenland. He cannot buy this.
For $100,000, would you guys sell Greenland? If each citizen of Greenland got $100,000, would you sell your country?
Yes.
But you said Greenland is not for sale, but you'd sell it for $100,000.
I'm sorry, YouTube. What? This man said 100,000. He was just saying you cannot buy Greenland. No Greenland. No Greenland for you. 100,000? Oh, shit. Well, now you talking, nigga. Well, now you're talking.
$1,000.
Money is money. The will boy will understand.
You think
that man said money, yes. You see?
I think it would be better for you guys to become part of the United States versus being part of Denmark?
Of course, there's some benefits to America. We would have way bigger military, and we would be safe from invasions in case of a war or something. If the Third World War comes, I don't know how much it would matter with all the nuclear weapons and stuff. But there would probably be some Russians coming from Greenland to go to America and stuff as a vantage point.
Your prime minister did say he's ready to talk with Donald Trump about the situation. What do you think that means?
I think he wants to negotiate in other ways than selling Greenland. We are open to the outside world, but we don't want to sell. We want to negotiate and make money in other ways other than Denmark, in export ways.
Now with the conflicts that are across the world with Ukraine, Russia, China, Russia, and their involvement together, and Greenland has a pivotal location as far as the trading routes for these ships and for these countries. Can you understand why Donald Trump would want to buy Greenland to protect the United States from Russia?
I really do. We are really placed we're well placed in the geopolitical meaning we're placed in the middle of everything with Russia and USA on both sides. And I just think,
Bro, I think it's negotiation time. You know you got prime real estate. You not gonna keep it because Russia want it, China want it, America want it, especially because America want it. Oh, we gonna get there. You get what I'm saying? You might as well start negotiating some contracts, some deals, and some money. You might as well at this point.
I understand that he wants to buy us through the resources and the geopolitical.
Bitch, you're already owned by Denmark, but Denmark bitch ass ain't gonna do shit if any of them countries come take you.
Wait.
And China did try to build airports and give loans to Greenland, and they were trying to influence their way here into Greenland as well. Would you guys rather have an influence of China or the United States here?
None. Neither. I do think it's a brilliant idea that we do negotiate with other countries, but not in the way of being bought. No one can buy us, and we're just... Greenland is...
Anything can be bought. Come with enough money, anything can be bought. Like right now, if a motherfucker tell anybody in my family or my friends, they'll give them $2 million to come get me and bring them to them, they probably sell my ass for $2 million. Ain't that fucked up?
For the Greenlanders.
Are you worried about being invaded by the U.S. military, as Donald Trump did say? That's not off the record when he did have a press conference the other day.
Of course we are.
I don't want this
damn alien come down here and buy your ass for $2 million in gold. I swear to God.
to sound like a threat. But here there are 57,000 people.
Yeah.
And in the United States, our military is much larger than 57,000 people.
I know, but we are part of Denmark, and Denmark is under NATO. And I'm sure in some way...
Now you're a part of Denmark. In the other day, you ain't a part of Denmark. But now you're a part of Denmark. Make your mind up.
They will support us if it did happen, which I'm sure it won't.
Yeah, I'm not saying I want you guys to be invaded by any means. I don't want that to happen. I'm just throwing that out theoretically and to play devil's advocate with you guys. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting.
Want to break into cybersecurity but don't have
What else we got? I thought that was going to last a little longer. Do I got more content? I got more content. I got more content. I know I got more content. Let's get on. Let's see. I hope we can watch Stephen A. Smith. I don't know. It might be copyrighted. That song might be copyrighted for sure. You cannot play that one.
Welcome to this latest edition of Straight Shooter, coming at you, as I love to do at least a couple of times a week. Usually I'm coming at you with Straight Shooter with Stephen A. every Wednesday night on SiriusXM POTUS Radio, channel 124 from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But pretty much every Monday and Friday, unless I'm on the road on assignment, I try to do a separate YouTube Straight Shooter segment. So that's what I'm doing today, and I'm not going to spend too much time today. I just had a couple of points that I wanted to get off my chest leading into my Wednesday night show, so you have an idea of kind of things that are on my mind, and I'll just touch on them briefly, and then obviously I'll see you Wednesday night. Right now, though, there's a few stories that have been on my mind that I wanted to touch on, okay? And I wanted to preface my comments by saying this. I wanted to remind you, as I keep trying to remind people, I'm a registered independent, not a Republican, not a Democrat. I'm a moderate who leans left on social issues and right on fiscal issues, meaning taxes, because I can't stand high taxes in California, New Jersey, and New York. That's me. That's where my fiscalness really, really kicks in. Liberal on pretty much everything else, as long as it's not extreme. I'm more of a moderate. And I bring that up because as the midterms approach, because we are in the year of the midterms, I keep telling y'all, I like balance in our government. If there was ever a time that I'm rooting against the right, it is now simply because they have all the power. You have the House, you have the Senate, you have the White House. And as a result, you have our government, the DOJ, the FBI, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't think that's good for the country. If it was on the left instead of the right, I'd be saying the same thing. I like balance. It's very, very important to me to have balance. Why? Because of checks and balances. That's who I am. That's who I've been. That's who I've always been. And that's who I will remain. Having said all of that, as the midterms approach, every single week, every chance I get, when I see something on the right or the left that I want to talk about, that I think is relevant and pertinent and worthy of being broached, to sort of highlight and illuminate what the hell we need to pay attention to and we need to be mindful of, I'm going to do it. Okay? And show how and highlight how this will work for or against a particular side of the aisle. And a couple of things came to my mind. One involved Don Lemon, which I will get into a little bit later. But the first order of business is a story that I'm interested in getting to because you got to see this. You got to see this. It just doesn't, I'm telling you, it doesn't look good for the Democrats if you allow yourself to be associated with this. This is the kind of stuff that will lose you elections. You got to see this to believe it. This, reading from USA Today, a Senate committee hearing about abortion medication has gone viral after Republican U.S. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri and Ashley Moody of Florida asked an obstetrician gynecologist if men can get pregnant. Republican Senator Josh Hawley grilled Dr. Nisha Verma, an OBGYN, who refused to answer that very question. Can men get pregnant? Repeatedly, and I mean repeatedly.
This new Crispy Pro, unbelievable.
What about that one?
I've never been one to settle. It's got glass. Food is...
Ladies and gentlemen, you got to see it to believe it. Later in the day, after this video I'm going to show you, Hawley had posted the video on the social media site X depicting his full exchange with Verma with the caption, spoiler alert, men cannot get pregnant. I'm not going to say anything else until you watch the video. See it for yourself. Take a look.
Dr. Verma, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question is.
The goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. Absolutely. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
can men get pregnant?
Many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women.
Can men get pregnant?
Again, as I'm saying,
let me just remind you what you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. So, can men get pregnant? You're a doctor, I think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
no, yes/no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you. You know, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert, and you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant?
What do y'all think? What's a woman to you people in this comment section right here? I hope it's a real woman. I hope it's a real woman, bro. I swear to God.
That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity. as a medical professional and as a scientist, can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
This is
male
extraordinary.
female with
No, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women. And I want to know, can men get pregnant?
This new Crispy Pro, unbelievable. Food is ready, faster, and crisp.
Minutes long. I only played 2. 10 times he asked her, can men get pregnant? Can men get pregnant? And she wouldn't answer. She wouldn't answer. Answer the question. Quite frankly, I'm trying to check your veracity on this matter. You're here talking science. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no? You cannot have that. As a Democratic Party, you cannot be associated with that. I'm talking about an unwillingness and an inability to answer the question. If you think men can get pregnant and you think you have scientific data to back that up, say so. If you don't have the scientific data to back it up, and you're purported to be a scientist, Dr. Nisha Verma, and the question is asked and you don't have proof to validate that men get pregnant, can men get pregnant, then the answer would be no. She refused to answer the question. That cannot happen. Why am I bringing that up? Because, ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand that's what will lose you an election. See, the GOP already got it plotted.
Bro, I ain't wrong. You would lose an election fucking all with me on that one. I swear to God, I will vote against your ass. Don't lie to me. I hate lies. And don't lie to me on some shit that's easy to lie about. I mean, that's hard to lie about. Lie on the easy shit. Lie on some shit that you just, I do this shit. Never do it. Don't give me no stupid ass lie to my face like I'm retarded or something.
They gonna air that all over the place. Senator Josh Hawley is gonna be on Fox News and other platforms, Newsmax and everything else. They gonna play that. 77 million people voted for Donald Trump. 74 plus million for Kamala Harris. There's tens of millions of people out there. They're gonna see that video. They're going to show it to them over and over. And they're going to say, that's the Dems. You have to immediately disassociate yourself from that rhetoric. I'm only talking about the rhetoric. I'm not talking about her as a person. I'm not talking about liberals who support transgender rights or anything. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an unwillingness to answer direct questions. 10 times in 2 minutes, he asked her, can men get pregnant? We're a Christian nation, aren't we? In the Bible, it talks about men and women, don't it? Where does it say a man can get pregnant? Scientifically, where does it say a man can get pregnant?
This new Crispy Pro, unbelievable.
What about that one?
I've never been one to settle. It's got glass. Food is ready, faster, and crispier. That's what top performance looks like. Oh, it's perfect. Look, retirement's not that bad. I've done it too.
For you not to be able or to be unwilling to answer that kind of question shows how evasive and unethical one is when it comes to simply blurting out the truth of an obvious question. That's the kind of stuff that we have to make sure that we address. Because if you are the Democrats, you got to do everything that you can to disassociate yourself from this video right here. There is no excuse nor any explanation. You can have issues with the economy. You can have issues with the border. You can have issues with safety in the streets. You can have issues with, education reform, welfare reform. The list goes on and on. I'm telling you right now, if you embrace that kind of nonsense, where somebody is in front of the camera or on Capitol Hill or the combination of both, and they can't acknowledge something that simple, you've already lost. Because Trump and the right are going to sit up there and say, Is that what you want our country to become? Is that what you want our country to stand on? That's the reason I brought that up. You can't give. Right now, the right is reeling, no matter what they say. No matter what they say. You still haven't finalized addressing the Affordable Care Act subsidies. Healthcare is still, price for healthcare is still expected to skyrocket. Price for insurance. Price for products throughout this country. We're looking at inflationary times. The value of the dollar is dissipating before our very eyes. Things need to happen. Things need to get done. Everybody knows there's bigger fish to fry than issues like this. But when you are unwilling to say something so obvious, it speaks to trust or lack thereof. And as a result, because that's the reality, folks are going to lose faith in you, and they're going to say, we can't risk having that kind of nonsense being allowed to foment and elevate in our society. That's what they're going to say. This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. I don't know how many times that I have sat up here and I've said, as an independent, I'm not comfortable with one party dominance on either side of the aisle. I like checks and balances because that's the way I believe our country is at its safest. From accusations of autocracy or anarchy or chaos or anything in between. I believe checks and balances eradicate those notions. And when you don't have it because one party's ruling everything, it becomes a bit problematic. You've got Trump reeling as we speak because of the stuff that's taking place in the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the laws on the books are on its side. It doesn't matter how ICE was embraced during the Obama administration. But suddenly, it's a pariah now with Trump. It doesn't matter. What matters is the optics. And if the optics show that ICE is in the streets and people are claiming to be terrorized, and because of that, chaos is building and stuff like that, it's not going to be a winning formula for the Trump administration. It's not going to be a winning formula for the GOP, especially not during the midterms. Because you got people got attitudes with you because of health care, because it doesn't seem to be America first, that you seem to be more preoccupied with doing business overseas as opposed to in this country. You got a whole bunch of stuff going on that people are looking at the GOP and they're saying, what's up, what's up, what's up? And you've got them reeling. And then something like this happens. And they're able to use it as a clip to remind it. It goes viral, and all of a sudden the networks are picking it up. And then you got a senator like Josh Hawley, who's respected, and people listen to him when he speaks. And he's parading, he's pervasive over the airwaves, and he's telling you what's going on, and because he was a part of it. He asked her 10 times in 2 minutes. Can a man get pregnant? Yes, can a man get pregnant? Yes, I understand what you're saying. Quite frankly, I'm checking your veracity. Can a man get pregnant? And you watch her dance. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. And something like that, being associated with one side of the aisle, is detrimental to that side. I'm just giving you that perspective. That's the kind of stuff that will lose an election for you. Trust me on that. It will lose an election for you. When you've got Trump and the administration reeling because public opinion ain't on his side because of the way and the how in which they're doing certain things, causing chaos in the streets. One would easily argue that's what happened in 2020. Economy was doing fine. Then COVID hit. But even then, George Floyd happened. And the racial reckoning that existed in this country was coming home.
This new Crispy Pro, unbelievable.
What about that one?
I've never been one to settle. It's got glass. Food is ready, faster, and crispier. That's what top performance looks like. Oh, it's perfect. Look, retirement's not that bad. I've done it too.
And all of those things happened. And you know what American voters said? You had Republicans with Trump, wouldn't budge. You had liberals on the opposite side that was going to go with Biden, especially after Representative Clyburn got involved and threw his support behind Biden and got him to win South Carolina, and things took off from there. But the real reason Trump lost The election in 2020 is because you had independents out there, or moderates on the left or the right, that said, we don't need this kind of chaos, we don't need this kind of noise. And that is what has been being played very adroitly by the left over the last couple of months. You're gaining traction, you're gaining momentum. You can't have that. You can't have that kind of testimony on Capitol Hill. You can't support it. You can't be a part of it. It can't be a Republican literally grilling her, restraining himself from excoriating her because of how ridiculous she looked and sounded. And that's associated with your party. You will lose. I'm telling it to you because I don't want you to lose. I want you to win. That message has gotten lost in the mix. How I've never been about one party rule. How because the Republicans have control of everything right now, I think that's a detriment to our country because I think there should be some checks and balances. Either the House or the Senate, Democrats should have, as long as you've got the Republicans in the kind of control that they're in. You got to get one of them back, at the very least. I don't know if I agree with James Carville talking about it's going to be a cakewalk, that the Dems are going to win easily in the midterms. Don't know about that. But it's worth noting that people are feeling confident because of how they believe Trump has been playing himself and how they've been able to take the kind of things that this administration has been engaging in and making it worse, work against him, at least from popularity purposes. I want to take a moment talking about Mr. Don Lemon, because we all know that he's in some hot water, or at least the Trump administration would like you to believe, or the DOJ rather would like you to believe that he's in some hot water, because this same individual that obviously came at me just a couple of weeks ago and black folks saying black folks don't like me, all of this other stuff, whatever. Okay, I could go all in, especially right now, on Don Lemon, considering the vulnerabilities of his situation right now. I will not do that. I will not do that at all. I will simply tell you that he's in a dicey situation right now and try to explain to some degree why that is. He could be prosecuted for embedding with Minnesota church protesters because he showed up to a protest recently, interviewing a pastor that was there who's I believe works for ICE as well. And you had people who went into the church and protested and prevented folks from engaging in prayer and stuff like that because they were interrupting the service, which obviously the pastor did not take too kindly to. Let's hear from Don Lemon. Play that for me, please.
This is an operation that is a secret, that they invited folks out.
This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere. They don't expect us to come there, and then we disrupt business as usual.
So right now it's kind of mayhem. We're not part of the activists, but we're here just reporting on them. Did they explain to you why they're here?
They did not.
They said that there is someone here in Easterwood, who is a member of ICE, and he's a pastor of the church.
Our church had gathered for worship, which we do every Sunday. We asked them to leave, and they obviously have not left.
So this is what the First Amendment is about the freedom to protest.
There's varying array of views in this church on politics of immigration. Recognize the complexity of the issue.
This shows you just how divided America is. When you look at the protesters here, and then you look at the people there who are praying, and you know what was the interesting thing? If these two groups could just get together, they might figure out what to do.
I don't necessarily agree with everything that's going on in the Twin Cities right now, but I don't think it's good to fight fire with fire. I think it's good to speak up, and I think it's good to protest, but I think it's better to do it in a peaceful way.
Yeah, that was interesting to watch. This guy here, look, he's hugging his kid. And You know, I imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. They think you lost and this didn't accomplish anything, and you went into their house, the house of the Lord.
The reality is the house of the Lord is a place where love lives. It's not a place where you can have a pastor masquerading as the director for the field office of ICE in St. Paul.
This new Crispy Pro, unbelievable. Food is ready, faster, and crispier. That's what top performance looks like.
We see all of that going on right now. Here's what I would tell you. Because the DOJ is essentially threatening to prosecute Don Lemon. Don Lemon is like, I'm an independent journalist. I'm there exercising my First Amendment rights and privileges, and that's what I was doing. And I don't think he's going to be in much trouble. They're even using the KKK Act. This is what they're doing. And for those of you who don't know, the KKK Act of 1871 is the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871, also known as the Civil Rights Act of 1871 or the Third Enforcement Act. It was a landmark Reconstruction-era federal law aimed at suppressing organized terror and violence, including Ku Klux Klan attacks targeting African Americans and Reconstruction supporters. Its purpose was designed to help enforce constitutional protections, especially where state governments failed to stop civil rights violations. Okay? That's what they're talking about. My point is this. They're going after Don Lemon, and it's ironic that they're doing so. I mean, they did this on Martin Luther King's holiday, by the way. But that's a story that we'll get into at a later date. Here's what I would say. The KKK Act is mostly a civil lawsuit tool today, and it usually requires state action or a very specific kind of civil rights conspiracy, a much higher bar than quote-unquote disruptive protest or bad judgment. If Don Lemon's role was simply recording, reporting, or being present and not participating in a conspiracy to deprive civil rights, then the KKK Act theory is unlikely to stick. If there's real legal exposure here for Don Lemon, however, it's more likely to run through the FACE Act than the KKK Act. And the FACE Act, 1994, is when it came into play, is a federal law that prohibits using force, threats of force, or physical obstruction to injure, intimidate, or interfere with people obtaining / providing reproductive health services or exercising religious freedoms at a place of worship. It provides for criminal penalties and civil enforcement, including lawsuits for injunctions and damages. The right wants Don Lemon thrown in jail. I don't want that. Do I think that he should have went into the church? No, it's a place of worship. Remember, after 9/11, the government warned us about the FACE Act when it come to people who wanted to block individuals from entering mosque for prayer and what have you. They warned them that they would face charges and the FACE Act would be invoked. So you've got folks talking about that kind of stuff here. And CNN legal analyst Ellie Honig writes, first of all, I would advise them not to do this. But if I did get one of these cases now, I would prevail upon DOJ to look at the discretionary factors. I would say this was a momentary interruption. It's not as if they stopped these people from worshiping over days or weeks, and I would use the argument that it was not violent. But what I would be doing there is appealing to DOJ on the soft factors, not on the actual elements of the crime. The last sentence is very, very important because the DOJ is going to look at the actual elements of the crime because they'd want to get at Don Lemon. Do I think it was wise to go into the church? No. Do I think that was something he should have done? Of course, I don't think that. But I do think it's important to point this out. None of us should be wishing for a journalist, independent or someone affiliated with an institution, a journalistic institution, to be going to jail over something like this. Because if that's going to happen, it's truly, truly some dangerous times we're living in. We all know that already, but especially if that happens. Remember, they just raided the house of a Washington Post journalist who's been reporting on the Trump administration for a while and encouraging sources to call her. They just raided her house. You got this kind of stuff going on with Don Lemon. It's bigger than him. It's bigger than him. He should not have gone into the church. I really wish he would not have done that. But I will say that none of us should be wishing for him to go to prison, to go to jail over this. We really, really shouldn't. Because he was there interviewing and reporting. He was more of an activist prior to arriving, because he said some things about how, because of ICE and its behavior and the kind of things going on in the streets of Minneapolis, Chicago, Portland, et cetera, this is just the beginning stage. That sounded more like activism instead of reporting, which is what they're going to use against him. I, for one, am hoping that this is much ado about nothing, and this isn't Trump and the DOJ treating him like he's the latest coming of Letitia James or Jack Smith or John Bolton or James Comey. I'm hoping that's not going to happen to Don Lemon. I just wanted to say that. That's it for this edition of Straight Shooter. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. SiriusXM POTUS Radio Channel 124, where if necessary, I'll elaborate more extensively than I did today. Peace and love, everybody. Talk to you later.
Not her. I don't know. You supposed to be reading the comments. Hello? It's like I'm on the phone or something. I'm about to play some more videos for you guys. I got way more news for you. Way more news. We just about to, hold on.
This new Crispy Pro, unbelievable.
What about that one?
I've never been one to settle.
Is a woman somebody who identifies a woman or somebody who have kids?
In essence, that, you know, it's like putting in a low ball offer for a piece of real estate, threatening to walk.
And I feel like that doesn't decrease that they are a woman.
No, that's not what we're saying. It's not. She can have kids. Probably she medically can't have kids, but she had the organs that allow her to have kids. What we're saying is there's men who dress like women, who identify as women, but are not real women. Right?
Yeah.
But most Democrats like Tim Walz, you ask him what is a woman, and he say, I don't understand that question. I don't understand that question. That's what they'll do.
Walk away, and then always knowing that eventually or at some point you are going to pay a lot more. That's the way he seems to handle these things.
Yes, it's not more complicated than that. I think we keep trying to look for some subtle nuance to explain his behaviour. He understands the world in very realist, it's an overused word, but transactional terms. Look at his real estate empire that he built in New York. It was the platform not just for the great wealth and the independence that wealth gave him to run for office. It was also his training in human nature. I mean, he understands how to press people's buttons. I think importantly, Steve, he understands power coming from land. This is something that we've lost. We think land is a problem. In Australia, we're always seeking to apologise for land that we've acquired. The European Union is predicated on international law, not on land grabs, which is why the EU has been so singularly incapable of challenging Vladimir Putin, who does think in terms of territory, of terra firma. Well, Trump is very much the same, and he sees Greenland not as a projection, I don't think, of America's imperial power, but as a really important piece of real estate, and he gets that, and we don't have a way of countering that, because we think in highfalutin ways about middle power diplomacy and international law and inclusive governance. And Trump continues to steal a march on those middle powers because of their basic failure.
And Tim, what he also understands is, one, the power of the US military, and two, the power of the US economy, because he says, look, if you don't do that, then I'm going to mess with your economy, and if you mess with me, you'll get an aircraft carrier battle group in your backyard pretty quickly.
Yes, I mean, it's classic power politics, and if you've got men under arms, missiles at your command, and the world's biggest economy, it gives you a huge amount of room for manoeuvre. And I suppose what you end up doing is forcing your allies into a degree of sycophancy, which they're dressing up as clever middle power diplomacy. And he put the fear of God into opponents. Iran, he is establishing both a dialogue track when it comes to the mullahs, and also being this track is backed up by the deployment of significant military force into the Mediterranean. This is old school diplomacy. It's kind of, we need a Napoleon or an Andrew Jackson, the guy that Trump models his much of his foreign policy on, to try and understand this. And we're just not schooled anymore in this kind of history. We think we've gotten over it, and we're advocates of a rules-based order. Well, the rules are made by the man with the most power, and in the current moment, that's Donald Trump.
To that very point, your very good piece in The Australian today, you argue that his nationalism actually clashes with Europe's rule-by-expert system, and you make the point that, borders and national interests still matter more than the global ideals. I mean, that's where we're at with this guy. And the other thing we have to remember, I mean, this is term 2 for him. I mean, he knows, probably deep down, he knows that this is it. He's got 3 more years, and he's going to shape the world in the shape that he believes it should be in.
Yes. He is at that stage of the cycle, the presidential cycle, which is quite common. It's the second term. There aren't many good examples of second terms going well. He knows he's got less than 3 years in the office. He's 80 in June. I mean, he will be the oldest man with this much power in world history, let me suggest. And he knows his time is limited. He went hard in that first year. It was just a storm of executive orders, of throwing things up in the air. I thought he would peak in that first year. Instead, he's continued the pace. He's moved it away from domestic politics, even though he's running hard on that in places like Minneapolis, and has extended it to the world. This is a guy who we always assume is going to run out of energy, and hasn't. But the lesson of history is that all second terms fade. If they don't end in some sort of crisis. If he's able to buck that trend, he will earn an even bigger place in history than the one he's already written for himself.
He doesn't have a lot of regard for the European leaders, and your point about the fact that Putin realises that land is important, and he wants to re-establish the old USSR and get more land back. And Trump's similar to him in that regard. So maybe that's one reason, why the two of them seem to get on, and why Donald Trump's not a massive fan of Vladimir Zelensky in Ukraine.
Yes, I think there's something to that. I mean, I think the analogy between Putin and Trump starts to break down, but it's important in this respect. They are both very ardent nationalists, and they see their national interests in territorial terms. The experience of Europe, of course, in the Second World War was how far nationalism brought that continent to ruin. So they developed quite explicitly a system of governance where technocrats rather than nationalists, where experts rather than ideologues would have power. Trump is a reversion back to that rather 1930s emphasis that power and the projection of power is about the acquisition of land. I think Trump is not a dictator in Putin's terms, but he shares with the Russian leader a concern with establishing power through the acquisition of territory. And again, I'll say that European leaders just don't have a...
Chat, what do you think about the territory coming back? You know what I mean by that? The acquisition, the acquiring of land. Would that be acquisition? The acquisition of land. What do you think about the more land you have, the more power you have, the Mafa Musa type thing coming back? What do you think about that?
Vocabulary of resistance to this restoration of a very old formula of great power politics.
Because England kind of changed that up a long time ago. England, they took over a lot of stuff, but they didn't. England itself is the smallest country you ever seen in your life. You can drive to half of a U.S. state and be in England.
You heated up. I know your ass started talking.
You can be in. You drive halfway across a U.S. state, and that's the end of England.
It's a fascinating thing to watch. Timothy Lynch, I really appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you very much.
battle in World of Warships isn't just a fight between caliber and armor.
Now, it's been a chaotic week in Australian politics, but there's also been no shortage of drama playing out on the world stage. US President Donald Trump travelled to the World Economic Forum in Davos while threatening tariffs on any European countries that stood in the way of his plan to annex Greenland. But by Thursday, our time, Trump dropped the tariff threat after a meeting with the NATO Secretary General, and now he's claiming a quote-unquote future deal will give the US full access to Greenland. Joining me now to discuss this and more is Diana Norozi, a White House reporter at Politico. Diana, welcome. What's the latest? It's been a bit up and down, all of this week.
It has, and Trump has claimed that he's reached a deal with the European leaders on Greenland that will give America access. And the final details of the deal have not been published. I think it's still a work in progress. But both sides, the Europeans and the Americans, are now claiming victory. Trump, because apparently America will have more access to Greenland in terms of security, in terms of getting the Europeans to step up and pay more money for the security of Greenland. And the Europeans showed that they could stand up to Trump and in their own way have this conversation and not totally back down to everything that he was saying. But in my opinion, this was Trump's plan all along, to ratchet up the pressure, to make everyone freak out a little bit. And then, of course, he wasn't going to use military incursions. But with that threat, he was able to make people come and at least have this negotiation about security.
I guess that's part of the thing, isn't it, right? I mean, the question is this Donald Trump's art of the deal, where he sort of gives you the worst case scenario and says, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to slap all these tariffs on you, a bit like we saw him do with Mexico and other nations. I'm going to take these really punitive measures. They then come to the table and he goes, oh, well, I get what I want after all. It's sort of make an ambit claim and then people will come and negotiate with him.
I think I personally think it was the art of the deal, but I think that leaders were right to be a little panicked because of what we saw in Venezuela. I think we've seen these kinds of threats before, but when you do see Trump act and take out Nicolas Maduro, the leader of Venezuela, and transport him to the U.S., maybe, President Trump is capable of annexing Greenland. That's the kind of thought that was going on here. Maybe he is just that crazy to do it.
Well, speaking of being crazy on these matters, I have to say the message he sent to the Norwegian Prime Minister, more or less saying, you didn't want me to have the Nobel Peace Prize, so I'm going to do whatever I want. I don't have to worry about peace anymore. To me, that seemed like throwing the toys out of the cot. I know Donald Trump does politics differently, and that's what makes him so successful, and that's why so often we like him so much, but that seemed like a step too far.
I think he's also been increasing this kind of rhetoric because it's, hopefully and likely his last term in office. We don't think he's going to seek a third term. But I think this is his last opportunity to really make a splash on the world stage and really do whatever he wants. And he's seen that he is able to do so without any real repercussions. We haven't seen drastic damage to the U.S., the economy, the international relations. Somehow always do come out with Trump still having relations with Europe and all these other countries because they do need Trump for security, for negotiations, and as an ally.
The other thing he's done at the World Economic Forum is assemble and announce this Board of Peace. How is this going to work?
The Board of Peace, he's announced to govern Gaza, and it's still a work in progress. He's invited countries to join, but several key U.S. allies have said that they're skeptical of it, that they don't want to join. And then his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who's been one of the key people doing the negotiations with Israel and with Ukraine as well, he came out with a PowerPoint presentation at Davos showing how the U.S. and these other countries are going to economically impact and build up Gaza. I think I mean, we'll just have to see what happens with this Board of Peace, who's going to join. But there's a lot of questions about what's going to happen in Gaza.
We'll see how it plays out, of course. Now, before you go, we have the Australian Open here in Melbourne at the moment, of course, one of the 4 Grand Slam tennis tournaments. Now, American player Amanda Anisimova is off to a flying start. She's into the 3rd round tomorrow. But after her win yesterday in the 2nd round, she was asked the most bizarre question about whether she was comfortable playing under the American flag. Take a look at this.
I've been asking a lot of the American players just how it feels to play under the American flag right now, and I'm curious how you feel.
Yeah, I mean, I was born in America, so I'm always proud to represent my country. And yeah, a lot of us are doing really well, and it's great to see a lot of, great athletes on the women's side, on the men's side. So yeah, I feel like we're all doing a great job representing ourselves.
And sorry, do you mind if I follow up? Sure. Sorry, just to clarify a little, I mean, sort of in the context of the last year of everything that's been happening in the U.S., does that complicate that feeling at all?
I don't think that's relevant.
Oh, I mean, for goodness sake, Diana, what an unhinged question.
A few thoughts come to mind when I see that clip. First, I do wonder what the nationality of the reporter is. Is the reporter himself American? And secondly, I think this is an example of a reporter trying to lead the player, the person answering the question, to a certain answer. And I think the context that the reporter was trying to indicate here is to pressure the player to denounce the ICE raids, maybe Trump's presence on the international stage in the last year. Not exactly sure exactly what the reporter was referring to, but it's been increasingly more prevalent for stars in America, for players as we see here, to say, no, I'm not going to denounce America altogether. I'm just here to play my sport. I'm just here to play my music.
And surely that is what they are there for. It's all they are there for. They don't have to get involved in politics. It's just extraordinary. Diana Norozi, thank you so much for your time.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without no...
Musk on aging. Is there going to be anything that we can, reverse aging? Okay, the conversation about reverse aging. And look what Musk's answer is. Fink, who I believe, Rob, is in his late 60s, early 70s. Can we find out how old Larry Fink is? He runs BlackRock, $14 trillion.
73.
73 years old, assets under management, 22,000 employees. Give or take. They have offices in 30 countries. They have investments in 100+ countries. But he's at an age where it's kind of like, look, man, I'm getting close to this thing. Can I reverse aging? Elon Musk's answer excites Larry Fink. Watch this.
Can you and I reverse aging in this new history, or are we going to see it?
I haven't put much time into the aging stuff. I do think it is a very solvable problem. Like you can. I think when we figure out what causes aging, I think we'll find it's incredibly obvious. No, it's not a subtle thing. The reason I say it's not a subtle thing is because all the cells in your body, with some pretty much age at the same rate. I've never seen someone with an old left arm and a young right arm ever in my life. So why is that? That means that there must be a clock, a synchronizing clock, that is synchronizing across 35 trillion cells in your body. There is some benefit to death, by the way. It's like there's a reason why we don't actually have a longer lifespan, because if people do live forever for a very long time, I think there's some risk of an ossification of society, of things just getting kind of locked in place, it just may become stultifying, just not lack vibrancy. But that said, do I think we'll figure out ways to extend life and maybe even reverse aging? I think that's highly likely.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store preloaded with 20 handpicked products that are trending all over the world, basically validated.
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so what do you think? Do you think it's going to happen? You think the reverse aging thing will take place, Tom?
Well, I think we're already making a lot of ground on cancer, because if you take cancer and heart disease out, you basically, that's where you're getting the human population going from 48 to 73. If you take a look at the turn of the century, and antibiotics, right? Used to be that pneumonia at age 30 could be a death sentence. That could be that. But now, advanced antibiotics and things allowed you to live longer. I think we're gonna see it. I think we're gonna see incremental things going forward. Now we also have the contra effect that we're poisoning ourselves and we're running ourselves in background. Like what happens with food in certain countries like ours in terms of processing, sugar, obesity, health-oriented diabetes. In other words, not diabetes since you were young because your pancreas had a defect, but you basically traumatizing your body and your pancreas through diet and weight to the point that your pancreas, you develop, health-oriented diabetes. When you start moving a lot of that back, you suddenly are, I think, going to find a lot of aging acceleration. We're already living in a world where right now we have more 100-year-olds than ever. And I think that's, doubling in 3 years, the number of 100-year-olds that are around us doubling in 3 years. And so we're going to see it. But I think we're going to see it in incremental ways. Like people that get smart about sugar, get smart about weight.
You're talking more education, not actual reverse aging, Benjamin Button type of stuff that's going on.
No, I think there will be some of that. They're going to figure certain things out.
Adam, where are you at with this?
Look, we're already living in the best time in human history. I mean, taking people out of poverty, extending life expectancy, reducing infant mortality. This is the best time to be alive. So all the people that are the doomsday and the global warming and I hate America, check the research on that. I'm in the life settlement, life insurance world, you know that. And the cornerstone of that is life expectancy. People are living longer than ever, especially if you just take care of yourself. If you got some money and you got some health insurance and you got some coverage, what a time to be alive, especially in America. Don't smoke. Watch what you eat. Don't be a fat ass. Work out from time to time. And, they said that sitting is the new smoking. Get out and work out a little bit. Get some sun as well. So the real question is this. Life expectancy is longer than ever. People are living longer, but are they living healthier? You talked about not life expectancy. What's your health expectancy? If you take care of yourself and you work out like this guy right here, you have a family and kids like this guy right here, which I'm working on, life is great, man.
Vinny.
Well, I think, it's reverse aging, going backwards. The Benjamin Button thing is hilarious, but I think taking care of yourself should be.
But the reverse aging, guy.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Reverse aging will happen.
No, I think it will. I think everything to me with technology and everything that's happening with AI, they're definitely going to figure it out. Especially when he simplifies it the way that he's saying it's the clock.
Can you imagine you put something in you and you're seeing your skin, the wrinkles going away.
And by the way, you're lasting longer and you're being here. But as a Christian, I think we forget the design of this whole thing. It's not to be here forever. It's be fruitful, be multiply, pass on the wisdom to the next generation, and then meet your maker. I think that arc has to happen. So messing with the plan, with God's plan, and I think it's going to happen. But you're supposed to live your best life, and then you're supposed to move on. I think these guys are messing.
What are you thinking?
If we get to that point, which I think we will, at least in our lifetime, especially at the rate AI is going, but would you take it?
Right? Would you take it?
I think if I have a big enough family and I continue to go at that path, I would love to take it. Right?
What age would you like to live to, Efren? Pick your age.
My age, I keep telling my kids I'll be 100 plus.
You want to be 100 plus?
100 plus.
You want to make it 100 plus?
I want to make it to 100 plus.
Would you want to live to 200?
I don't know, but depends how the world is going. Yeah. I guess, I enjoy life what you have it. If you keep extending it, and life's gonna be. What's the true meaning of life at that point?
Would you want to live to 200?
Absolutely
No, sir.
not.
Tell
With
me
my
why.
back?
I'll explain. With my back?
But by the way, what if they find a way where that back pain goes away?
Yeah.
What if your knee pain goes away? What if your ankle pain goes away? The elbows, the shoulder, the neck, the peeing 7 times a night, the bubbling you have to do.
I'm already doing that.
You have to eat. So, but what I'm saying is, forget about all of that. What if all of that goes away? Would you want to live to 200?
I'll tell you, if you want to be completely selfish, then yeah, live to 1,000. But if you want to see all your friends, your family, your kids all die, and you're still alive, I got a major problem with that. My grandmother, she just died at age 100 2 weeks ago. She died. My entire family flew in from Minnesota, and we celebrated her 100th birthday. We all took pictures. We all had cake. She has dementia. She sat there. I think she remembers my aunt and my uncle a little bit. And we all left. They put her to bed, and 2 days later, she was dead. And we all said, what a beautiful life she had. Thank God we did this. My other grandma, who's like my closest grandma, she's 94. And she's complaining. I don't feel good. She's way more cognitive than this other grandma. I said, Grandma, I love you. I don't want to hear it. I'm already planning your 100th birthday. It's in 6 years. I already put the down payment on the party room. No excuses. I need you there. And you know what she says? Okay, I'm going to do my best to make it. And I'm giving her a reason to live. So do you want to live to 200? No, because all your friends and family are going to die. But age 100, with all your family and kids and grandkids, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, well, what I'm talking about is you go to a doctor, new technology comes out, for $1 million, they can make you look to the best version you can be and internally change organs, healthier, live longer. You know, if you have the resources, buy a younger heart, younger this, younger that, they do the surgery, they put it in there. Would you want that? Would you want to do that?
I would want a better. I mean, I have high blood pressure. I would love it. Give me a heart.
You with the red face and the veins have high blood pressure?
And I'm sitting next to you is the reason I get the red veins in the freaking face.
Vinny, sitting next to you, my left eardrum is now non-existent. Huh? Sitting next to Ephraim, it feels great. That's called compare and contrast.
Where are you at with this?
Well, first of all, God's not going to let us do anything in medicine that he doesn't want us to do. So I have faith in that. I have faith that he's in control, right? He says he knows the days and things, so I believe God's in control. I don't think we're going to get to like magic reversal, but I think we're going to get to a lot of life extension. I think we're going to get to a lot of things on cancer and a lot of things on life extension, Pat, where you age more slowly and you age better. I don't think we're going to be able to go into reverse. We do things like facelift and Botox, and suddenly a 40-year-old person looks 32, 33, tighten up the skin and all that. And you can worry about that.
Hey, I just thought about that. I'm 26 years old. I'm an unk. I'm old. I'm old, bruh. Ain't that crazy? I'm old. I'm old, dude. That's weird. I don't even feel old.
That all day long. And there are some things you can do that way. But I think we're going to have slower aging, and we're going to conquer certain diseases. But I'm like, you know, I am absolutely, you know, focused on 100. And I've actually more recently, because I look around how old will everybody be around me, I look at 110 and I say, and then I look at all the stats. You know, there's going to be 420,000 100-year-olds when I turn 100. I'm going to be part of that.
I like that.
BBD, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So, forgive me if it's too personal. We all love your dad, Gabriel. He's 83. Have you had that discussion with age 100, how long he'd want to live? Obviously, that's your role model, your hero. What are your thoughts on him living to 200?
See, that's a different conversation. I'd want him to live and outlive me. I want everybody to outlive me. It's not even a question, but there's a reason why God created it the way He did. I think there is, in the weirdest way, is certain experiences that bring pain. I think it's necessary. I think you need it because you need. When I was coming up, I needed setback to humble me. Yeah. If I was a 22-year-old today, it would be a very different PBD people would be remembering me for. If I was 22, having nothing to lose, having nothing that's going on, life was, I'm in debt $49,000, and then I'm with this company. I'm a rock star at 21. I'm giving talks on yachts in Newport Beach, and I'm the poster child of this technology company that's coming out with this billionaire that is mentoring me in LA. And I'm at his place in Newport all the time. Beautiful $35 million home at that time. It's now a $100 million home on the water. Beautiful, beautiful property. And then I'm like, man, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. And then boom, I lost it all. And it was embarrassing. Girl leaves. Friends are making fun of you because, I thought you were going to be a millionaire. I thought you're pulling up on a Ford Focus, that stick shift, no power windows, the old school windows. The AC is a ghetto AC. Car payment on the Focus is $228. And then you look at how everybody looks at you. And they have that smirk on their face. You know what the smirk on the face is like? What happened, huh? I told you. You were like dreaming. And then you have to take it. Yeah. And then you're like, you're never going to look at me like that ever again. That's just never going to happen. So I think that's one pain. Then there's the pain to lose someone, for you to realize why you have to be more grateful. God teaches gratitude in a very unique way. God teaches important relationships and friendships in a very weird way. He teaches you on how to be the benefits of being better at relationships in a very weird way. You may have a transactional mind and you're like, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And you're like, no, man, you need relationships. You have to learn how to better build relationships. So to me, look, with my dad, I asked God for one thing with Dad many years ago when I was in the military. I just said, God, I want my kids to get to know Him. And I want to, the time that I didn't get with Him when I was 10 to 12 years old, when my parents got a divorce, and I lived in Germany. And then the next 6 years when I saw Him one Saturday, Sunday, every other weekend. And then I go to the Army for 2.5 years. I don't see him. I said, I want to find a way to rekindle that relationship. And then now he lives with us the last 5 years, family, all of that. No, there is a time for everything. I mean, even in the Bible, who says that? There's a time to mourn. There's time to who says that? Is that
King Solomon wrote it in Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes. Yeah, there's a time really for everything, right? There's a time to weep. There's a time to laugh. There's a time to mourn. There's time to dance. That is really a part of life. Like, we have to realize.
This game, you're not ready for it.
Mourning happens, and sometimes it's a way of saying, hey, it's your time to step up. Stop being so selfish. Stop living your life just for you. People are relying on you. People are relying on you to lead the family. I had one of my guys, when his father died, he called me one time. He was driving back from Lodi back to California, and we're on the phone together, and he's just crying. I said, listen, you can cry all you want with me on the phone right now. Do it. Get it out of your system. When you get in front of your family, everybody else can cry. You're officially the leader. And if you need to cry, step away, get in the car, come back. One person needs to carry the burden of the family. One person needs to carry the burden of the family. Cry privately as much as you want the next 5 hours. When you get there, you're the oldest son. You need to officially be able to lead this family. And that's not an easy burden that comes with it, but your father had to carry it. Now it's on you to carry it. So I think that part that we fight, listen, it is what it is. You got to go through it. But me selfishly, if I had a mind, I want everybody to outlive me. I want everybody to outlive me. But God's got different plans. You got to trust it. Efren, maybe take a minute here. and share with the audience how you ended up being on the podcast.
So it was during Christmas, like you said, and I was gonna buy the merch anyway, so I ended up buying 2 pairs of the shoes, and then also the sales classes. I saw a massive discount, so I purchased that, and I actually love what you guys do on the emails. I still get emails right now saying you have not started the courses.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah.
So when are you starting them?
Well, because right now my goal is to improve communication,
Yep.
so I'm taking a course for that.
Good.
Once that's completed, then I'll jump to that course.
I love it. So it's actually following up with you to make sure you do it.
Love it.
Well, good for the team. Good for you for doing that. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true.
You have it listened, you type it in, and then you go digging.
Your mama might get you a ride to class because you feel like you're doing some shit. Who knows?
You know, Nick, just listening to you, we're Americans. Many of us have never been shipped overseas in any level of deployment, saw combat like you did. So many of the images that we see on the news feed, you don't know if it is propaganda, because America always has to have an enemy.
Yeah.
Depending how they want to frame the narrative, that's what's going to roll across your news feed.
Facts.
So when I'm listening to you and you're like, nah, I'm a sniper. I had a chance to watch and observe and see these people in their daily actions. There was some bad dudes over there in the way that they treated their own.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You couldn't imagine.
Huh? Nah, then it felt like they early. I'm outside like, oh, it don't look like shit about to happen though. Baby, you still got that wireless charger on charger, right? Charge it. Oh, you didn't put it on charge. You was supposed to go in there and charge and get some cords. What the hell? I knew it. I knew that motherfucker gonna fit, but you didn't do it. What? That nigga, y'all heard white folks had passed away. R.I.P. white folks. He used to be, damn, what neighborhood he used to be in? He used to be in White Haven, wasn't it? Well, he said, oh yeah, it'd be fine, man. Got that white folk. Yeah, white folk be drunk. What I tell you the other day, man, white folk be drunk. That nigga be drunk in head.
No, I remember I was on one live when she off that blue top band.
Damn, man, I hate white folks that die. Everybody love white folks, man. Hey, chat, you know I'm on my live stream right now. I'm starting it back up. Hey, chat, I don't know if y'all know who I'm talking about, but I'm in Memphis right now. Everybody love white folks. That nigga funny as hell. He be drunk every time you see him. Yeah. Yeah. I hate my girl ain't get to see him. Shit, you come around here more often. You see white folks outside. You see that nigga. You see him at a gas station somewhere tripping or something. You gonna see white folks for sure. That one person you gonna see in Memphis. Yeah. I mean, white folks the type of nigga who don't know he famous type shit. You know, he just getting drunk and bullshit. That nigga was just having fun, bro. You gotta understand the reason why he where he was at, cause he was just having fun. That nigga wasn't thinking about all that shit. That nigga was getting drunk, hanging out with his boys, and motherfucker recording his ass. That's what it was. Nah, you gotta do content. Hey, you gotta look into that AI shit too, man. I'm telling you, it's still running. Your ass slowed up on it. I told you juice to the motherfucker. You ain't step on, put on gas. Man, bro, make your mixtape covers make your song covers. Each one on, make them in AI and make them bitches interactive. No, I'm saying make them bitches video covers. Make them covers, and then every song after you make the song and drop it with all the covers on it, just for a still picture, you make a whole nother line of them bitches, the visualizer. And lyric videos. You can have 4-5 videos for 4-5 different songs, all different, and one of them motherfuckers gonna get some content going. Nah, I'm saying, bro, you be working on it before you even drop that bitch. Be working on that shit right now. Get every of them 13 videos. You need a lyric video for every last one on. You need a visualizer for every last one on, and you need the regular still picture for every last one on. Yeah, what about it? Alright, bet. Yeah, go ahead and make the visualize for that bitch. Man, hey, you remember that Project Pat shit I sent you, bro? I'm like, man, I'm trying to have visualizers like that. That shit hard. I sat there and watched that shit. But that'll be hard as hell for a visualizer, though. That's what I'm saying.
Imagine some of the vile shit that you see, from beheadings to stoning women to just beating people for no reason, because they didn't meet a quota. I don't know what they were arguing about, but seeing people get beat, get shot, get beheaded, there's some real mean dudes out there that needed to be killed. So you get a chance to see a lot of foul shit. Yeah. My first deployment, I seen a dad come out on the balcony with his son and try to use him as a shield, a body shield. And luckily we had some good snipers and took the dad out, and he landed right in front of me, fell off the balcony. And in my young kid brain at that time, first deployment, I'm like, who the hell is dropping a sack of potatoes? You know, it was like a burlap sack of potatoes. Looked at it with my night vision, like, oh shit, that's the body. But a lot of my first deployment was like that, where the mind couldn't comprehend. It was the first time seeing something. Can't comprehend it. My first time getting shot at, I had to be told I was being shot at. I had to be told, like,
what do you mean?
I didn't know what like on a movie, you hear the bang of a rifle. All I heard were snaps. It sounded like someone slapping a ruler on a desk. And I'm hearing pop, 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 like snaps. And I thought something was wrong. We had Peltors. It was an electronic hearing protection. It amplifies sound. and muffles out loud sounds, and it takes batteries. I thought my batteries were fucked up. So I'm like, what is that noise? Then I could feel stone or rocks hitting my back. My team leader, shout out to Juan Salazar. He tackled me on the ground and was like, bro, get the fuck down. We're being shot at. I'm like, what? That is that? And we had some good snipers, and yeah, we ended up in total, made the news. We killed like 14 people that day. One was a younger fighter. I'll say that. One was a younger fighter who tried to play dead, and there was candy up on the rooftop. He was young. Tried to play dead, and then clearing the rooftop, he decided he wasn't playing dead no more and tried to get up and shoot our guys in the back. But yeah, we killed like 14 dudes that night. I had no idea I was even being shot at initially. Then once the brain connected, oh, that's what that is. Then we went to work, yeah. My first time ever being shot at.
Wow. Go backwards for a second. You said you received an award or commendation or something when you took out 6 leaders at once?
6 times. It was an accumulation of events. That night, I ended up killing so I killed the Taliban guys, and then later that night I dropped some, well, not me personally. I called in a C-130, 105 howitzer rounds, and killed, I think 15 guys in a tree line. But prior to that, I killed three guys on a rooftop. So it was like an accumulation of events why that whole award even came to be. But it's my only valorous award that I have.
But what do you mean when you said earlier you lined them up?
They were already lined up. They were protecting this street, and me and my spotter went up there and took them out. They were protecting a street or lined up on a street. That's all that, I could see. I don't know what they were doing. Maybe they knew we were there or heading down that street or just pulling security. But yeah, once we saw who they were or, what they were doing, I got the call to take them out, me and my spotter.
Where are you at this time? Are you on a rooftop?
No, we're laying in the middle of the street. This was in Helmand province. And yeah, they were already lined up. And for some odd reason, it was an inshallah, Allah's will, whatever you want to call it. But nobody ran. It was the weirdest. No, one guy did try to hop in a car, and my spotter plucked him with a 300 Win Mag. But the guys that I shot, none of them moved. The last guy was shooting ducks in a row. I told my spotter, Pemberton, hey, you're going to start on this side, I'm going to start on this side, and we're going to boom, 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 work our way in. And no one ran. The last guy, he took a squat. He saw his guys dropping, and he squatted down. It's the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life. But I'm not the only one who's been a part of that, where some guys just didn't run. They just sat there.
Okay, do you get the sense that they didn't run because it's Allah's will? Or, sometimes people just freeze up.
Could have been, yeah.
Those bullets start ringing off.
Yeah, it could have been. We were a pretty good distance away, too, and suppressed. We had silenced rifles, suppressed rifles, and pretty good distance away. Nothing crazy, under 300 yards, and just line them up. I don't know if they were in shock. I mean, I guess you could probably say he would look over at his boy drop and this dude to drop. One guy did try to hop in a car, and his trunk was full of RPGs and RPKs and unexploded ordnances, just stacked full of it. He tried to pull out in his car. My spotter dropped him, but yeah, got a whole write-up for it, an entire write-up. It's it's a 2-page write-up? Yeah, I posted it a while ago. It's a whole 2-page write-up of what we did that day and why I got my award.
Yeah, when this clip dropped, you're going to have to repost that, Nick.
Yeah.
Hey, stop buying courses. Listen, I want to build you a Shopify store completely free, and I want to do it on a live stream. Literally, you click the link below. My brother Adrian and I, we are live streaming today, and we are building Shopify stores. And not only are we building them, we're putting 20 of the top trending products on the stores for you so that you don't have to worry about, what am I going to sell? And then instead of selling you courses, we're going to give you courses, and we're going to give them to you for free. And you might be thinking to yourself, Anthony, why would you do that? There's a very logical answer for this. We're some of Shopify's top partners in the world. Okay, so number one, the reason we don't have to charge you is that anytime you get a Shopify account, we get paid. So we're basically affiliates for Shopify. They pay us, so you don't have to. That means you can use our AI store builder. You can build your store. You can do it all on the live stream. When you click the link below, you'll see Adrian and I are on there live streaming. You can do all that for free because we're getting paid anyway. It's just we're not getting paid by you. And then the question of like, well, why wouldn't you sell us courses? Well, real simple. Shopify only pays us if you keep your Shopify account for 90 days. That means if we don't do a good job, if we don't build you a good store, if we don't teach you how to use.
You know, right now the whole world is in, well, the whole U.S. in particular is in an upheaval with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
And taking advantage of underage girls. Did you ever find that there was an equivalent case over there? Because I'm hearing you talk about young boys.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just cultural or business as usual? Or can you even recall a case where it became national or international news because prominent older men were raping, taking advantage of underage boys?
No, I don't know of any prominent cases. I honestly think it's just that that's their culture. That's what they do. And if you want to do anything about it, I mean, we could have, if you want to go to war about anything, we could have gone to war about that a little bit, you know, but I don't know what could be done about it either, you know. Where you go kill all the grown men? Those boys are so traumatized and raised up, you know, some at a young age that way, and they become the little dancing boys. We call them chai boys, chai tea boys, chai boys. And there's like a whole culture of this, the dancing boys that go out and do that stuff. I don't know. I don't know if you even could change it. It's such a cultural thing now that, you know, what could we do about it? I don't know of any like Epstein style case though. I think there's a bunch of Epsteins over there.
Even if it's not prominent, you know, I get the sense even listening to you that on any level, nobody's brought to justice. This is not something that is frowned upon.
No.
Nothing that, you know, you're ever going to be arrested for or prosecuted.
No. You're like, that's